Sara, we know police have already confiscated everything from bear spray to shields to metal and wooden poles. What's happening there now? Looks like things are relatively peaceful behind you.
They are peaceful. I mean, what you have is the police basically separated folks from the Proud Boys and who came for that, and the leftist groups like Antifa. They're on literally the other side of the river. I have with me one of the chairmen of Proud Boys, Enrique Tarrio, who is here. Why did you come to Portland? Why was this brought forward? Because I do want to mention the fact that Joe Biggs said some pretty violent stuff on Twitter before, saying death to Antifa, bring your guns, and that really ratcheted things up and made people feel very nervous here that there was going to be violence brought by your group to this city.
Okay, so first and foremost, we came over here to raise awareness for domestic terrorism. Now, that's not just for Antifa. That includes the shooting that happened in El Paso, the shooting that happened in Dayton, Ohio, the attempted firebombing in Tacoma, Washington, and the shooting at the ICE facility in San Antonio. I mean, I could go on, but that's what we came here to do. We've been planning this for 2 months. The straw that broke the camel's back was the attack on Andy Ngo, an independent journalist that was just trying to document Antifa, and he got brain hemorrhage from it. And
I just want to mention that was in June, so just a month ago. But before that, in May, there was another melee, if you will, and some of the members of a right group that follows you guys and that tends to show up for these things, Patriot Player, one of their people just got arrested, turned himself in, Joey Gibson, for rioting. And so do you think this is a problem that both the right-wing groups and the left bring to the fore?
Absolutely not, especially here in Oregon. You have Patriot Prayer that went to go practice their First Amendment rights. If you look at that video, Joey was spit on, pepper sprayed. I think Ted Wheeler needs an axe to grind, and we're not going to be that group. So that's why we came here today.
And explain to me, I don't understand why you're showing up. Is it to antagonize the mayor or the city? Because there are people here, people of color in particular, who I've talked to that feel like they're being terrorized because of some of the language that is used by groups like yours against them. And you all have a history also in Manhattan. There is a case right now where there's videos out there of 10 members of your group or people that are around your group
they went ahead and they
that's
threw a
not
glass
the way
bottle
the city.
That's fine.
That's not the way the city
sees
it.
The political powers of the governor and the mayor of New York, same thing that Ted Wheeler wants to do. I've had an open communication, open dialogue with Portland PD for the past month. And then here we are. There was two different stories. There was Portland PD's story and Ted Wheeler's story. And again, Ted Wheeler needed an axe to grind. So what we did is our message was bold today. Our message wasn't, we didn't stay there. We didn't antagonize anybody. We held our hands in prayer. We bent a knee. And then we went ahead and we left. We sent our message with zero violence.
What is the message that you are trying to send? Because a lot of people see the message as one of intolerance, xenophobia, racism. What is the message that you are trying to actually send?
Just a second ago, you mentioned people of color, right?
Yeah.
And you said, and I'm a person of color, right? I'm Cuban, right? My family, two of my family members got killed in Castro's regime. So it's a difference of opinion, whether it's people of color, white people. It's always about race. Our message our message wasn't about race. Our message has never been about race. When you join our ranks, we don't ask you what race you are, what religion you are. We just accept you for who you are. We have liberals, a lot of liberals. There's actually one prominent liberal that's here that's part of our ranks.
Liberals would probably dispute that, to say that you guys have a lot of liberals as a part of your group, and you call yourself male chauvinist, right?
No,
what does that mean? That's out there on.
No, it's not.
Yes,
You're
it is.
falsifying. It's not male chauvinist.
What is
your
it?
Viewers can watch that.
Western chauvinist.
Chauvinist.
Okay,
so
Western chauvinist. What does that mean?
That it was false? Is that what you just said?
No. What does that mean? What is a chauvinist? What do you mean?
A chauvinist is somebody that's patriotic and extremely proud of their country. So you tried to twist my words and say that my group is male chauvinist. There's a big difference.
I'm letting you speak about it.
No,
I'm letting you speak about it. No, I just said Western.
You said, no. You said
I said male chauvinist, then corrected myself. Said Western chauvinist. What does that mean? A lot of people hear the word chauvinist and they think male chauvinist. They think of people. And what you say on the website and what you have heard from Gavin McInnes, who created this group, is that this is only for people with penises. That is literally what has been said. So isn't that a male chauvinist?
So let me ask you something. So women's rights groups that are all women, are they sexist too?
There are women's groups who allow, like the women's movement,
So
they want males to come out and
club,
be...
I'm sorry, the women's club, are they a sexist group?
What women's club are you talking about? What are you referring to?
The women's club, the National Women's Club, that only accepts women, are they sexist?
Let me ask you something.
It's a men's group, it's a drinking club.
Right, but that's what I'm asking you. You're saying Western chauvinist.
Celebrates women also.
So it's something that celebrates men, but you say Western chauvinist, right?
It celebrates a traditional American family. It celebrates a male. It celebrates a female.
So let me ask you something about the president. The president tweeted today that he is looking at the possibility of making Antifa a domestic terrorist organization.
Yes.
Should white supremacist groups also be considered the same?
Yes, they should. They should, and they're right. Anybody that espouses violence or race, they should be labeled a domestic terrorist group, just like Antifa.
And when you come out here, how do you feel about the tweet itself? Is that something that's speaking directly to you? Because what the president didn't mention is that right-wing groups have also been violent.
Yeah, and that's why I said the El Paso shooter. I just said it a little while ago.
No, I'm talking about what you think of the president. He mentioned one group.
The president is right. It's one tweet. He's not going to mention every single group. Right now, the focus is Antifa. We've seen them firebomb. We've seen them attempt a firebombing in Tacoma. We saw the Dayton, Ohio shooter is an Antifa member. So there's both groups. Right now, the focus is Antifa.
Right, but there's also what happened in El Paso, where the person was clearly a white supremacist with xenophobic ideas. What I'm asking you is, when you just pick one group and two groups are both involved in violence.
No, focus on one group and focus on another. He went ahead and he called out the El Paso shooter, and he called out white supremacy. Do you not remember that tweet?
Sure, I remember that tweet, but I also...
So we got white supremacy, he called out white, so basically he called out white supremacy, and he called out Antifa. Perfect,
but
both
in
sides.
A time when the government here and the people here that live here are extremely concerned about what's going on, to have the president just pick one group when the right has also been arrested, and not to mention it...
Weekend, would you be tweeting right now? Right now, you're not covering white supremacy, are you? You're covering this event, right? So when El Paso shooting happened, he tweeted about El Paso. Today, the event is Antifa. So
is it Antifa, though? That you guys were the ones that organized this event. So how is this Antifa?
Did anything go wrong with this event today?
Nothing went wrong with Antifa either. Nothing went wrong with you guys. It has so far been peaceful. Is that what you plan on doing coming here? I guess the question is, why come here?
As long as Ted Wheeler keeps pandering to Antifa and not calling them out by name, we're going to keep coming out here. We're going to keep wasting his resources. He's going to call all the agencies that he's called. He's going to call the National Guard, the FBI, all of those people, and we're going to keep coming out here until Ted Wheeler does something.
What do you say to residents that say, we're paying taxes for this, and you're just wasting our resources?
Do they pay federal taxes like I do?
All of them pay taxes.
Perfect. Then this is just as my city as my home back at Miami. This is the United States of America.
So you've come here from Miami to waste the resources of Portland.
That wasn't our original intent.
But you just said that's what it was.
Now it is, obviously, because Ted Wheeler needed an axe to grind, and we weren't going to be that axe.
So you're going to keep showing up
I'm going to keep showing up.
Does it bother you at all that there are groups that feel... Let me just ask you this. Does it bother you at all that there are folks here that feel that they have almost emotional terror, worrying that something's going to explode here, similar to what happened in Charlottesville?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
I said, are you worrying about, or do you care about the fact that there are people here in town that live here in Portland that are concerned about something exploding here, that something getting very violent and having their city explode, similar to what happened in Charlottesville in 2017?
They went ahead and they have a concern. I have a concern also. My concern is domestic terrorism by leftist groups.
But why do you keep coming to Portland? You're in Miami. Could you not do that there?
I don't know if you know what happened to me or your viewers know what happened to me. Last time I came to Portland, I got hit with an explosive and got shrapnel on my arm and leg.
I'm sorry about that. That shouldn't happen. You shouldn't be injured, and nor should people on the other side be injured.
Hit, then they go ahead and they'd do the same thing.
But I guess the question begs, then why keep showing up? Because you know that that's going to engage them as well,
correct? I'm going to simply say the reason why I keep showing up is because this is America. I have the freedom to express myself wherever, whether I go to Michigan, whether I go to Florida, whether I go to Washington, whether I come to Oregon. Right now, I think the problem is in Oregon. Maybe you have a difference of opinion than I do, but it doesn't matter. We're going to continue to fight this fight against domestic terrorism. Whether Ted Cruz proposed a piece of legislation to label them the domestic terrorists that they are. My petition on the whitehouse.gov got 40,000 signatures with zero platform. I don't have Facebook, I don't have Instagram, I don't have social media at all. That should tell you something. Other people get 100,000 signatures for regular stuff.
Enrique, I appreciate you talking to me.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Are you done? Is this over?
We are actually moving. So yes, today's events are over.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you talking to me. That was Enrique Tarrio of the Proud Boys explaining why they keep coming here. And basically, at the end, he says, look, we're just trying to whittle down and waste the resources of Portland. That will make a lot of the residents here very unhappy to hear that. He says they're going to keep coming, and there is going to always be a reaction from the left. It happens every time. It is a way to engage them. That will not make the city happy. Anna?
Sara, a lot to digest there from your interview. I just want to be very clear, though. The Southern Poverty Law Center does classify that group, the leader of whom you were talking to, as a hate group.
Yep.
And we know you're going to continue to try to understand what is the dynamic there on the ground and bring us any updates from Portland, Oregon.